Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Spencer Penrod. I'm a world builder. I write worlds for stories, for games, campaigns, and D&D, things like that. And today I'm taking another look at Alien Stage. We'll be watching it and examining all the details that they use to build their world and share its details. I'm really excited to get back into this. Last time we only got through 2 videos. Hopefully we'll get through a little more this time. And it seems like there is some kind of sinister alien, like, idol training group thing, where it is raising children to perform in, like, these talent competitions slash death games where the losers die and there's this big tournament. We don't know really what the end of that is, and there's a lot of details that we're not sure about yet. But I'm excited to see what more we learn about it today. So let's go ahead and jump right into round 2 of Alien Stage. Right away, it is interesting to see one of these people has a collar on and one of them doesn't. We've speculated about the color on these collars a few times, whether it means that they are of a particular mindset or whether it's something to do with the area they're in. Sorry, I got something in my throat today. We haven't seen any colors in these pictures so far, so it's notable that this guy has one, and it's also notable that it's red. That makes me think it's a mindset thing. It still could be a location, because we don't know where this area is that they're getting their pictures taken in. But if I had to make a guess, it would be mindset, because the only reason I could see to keep the collar on is that someone is persistently a problem without it. They seem to not want the colors on in their performances and in their little pictures here. So if it's red and he's having to keep it on for the pictures despite that preference to have it removed, it makes me think they can't trust him without it, and that makes me think that the color is an indicator of, like, how compliant they are or their mental state in some other way. Oh, it's the guitar guy with the leash. Okay, we noticed there some words on him, or letters on him. It looks like T or I, and then I can't really make it out. It's too covered by other stuff. We noticed the branding on the black-haired girl in the last episode as well. Someone in my comments told me that that is their names, that they tend to be branded with those somewhere, which makes sense because her name was Sua, I believe, S-U-A. I couldn't make sense of what word it would be, but it makes sense if it's just their names branded onto them. I'm interested. He looked horrified here that he started with the guitar. I wonder what that means. Maybe he's doing something different than they rehearsed. I assume they have to rehearse these performances if they're performing together. Yeah, it's interesting we get that kind of a look right off the bat. Maybe it's nerves, like, oh crap, I'm up against someone who is really talented and there's no way I'm going to beat him. And he's kind of realizing it fresh right at the start. We'll see, I guess. Okay, so he's getting memories of these other people that he's seen. Yeah, I couldn't tell here if this was a memory or not. I think we've seen this lady before. I can't tell for sure. Is that... I can't tell if this is the pink-haired girl and the color is washed out because it's a memory, or if this is someone else. He doesn't seem to have washed out memories otherwise, though. Also, his color is green here, which is now making me think that he doesn't have a persistent problem with attitude, or that it's developed recently, or again, that maybe it doesn't have anything to do with problem or attitude at all. It's interesting to see that he's looking out like a door or something around a corner to see them. We've seen signs that this outside area is actually within a giant box. I wonder if he's looking from the outside of that box here. Just kidding, it was a tree. Also, he's beat up. He does not look good here. I wonder if he gets in fights with the other kids, or it's probably not just like he trips and is clumsy, because that looks like a swollen eye almost, which you'd get from a punch. So he's probably fighting other kids, is my guess. Okay, that looked like... What is going on here? So I think this is the guy that we saw earlier getting shown the footage of the guitar kid. We saw him like this with his mouth covered, and he was being forced to watch it. I don't know what's up with this kind of blurred out alien thing. Is this, though... No, this isn't a different... Hang on. Now I'm confused. I thought we saw someone watching the guitar footage and that it was someone different. But maybe it was the guitar guy watching his own footage, because this looks like him, right? He's got the same patches here that he did when he was a little kid. That's covering up his name. But we can't see... Yeah, I don't know. Not enough detail. I'm too bad with faces to tell for sure here. He's holding on to something. Is that the flower crown we just saw? Yeah, it looks like it. Like it's the flower crown that they were giving there. Or something similar. Oops, too far. We see him kind of boxing here, beat up again. Yeah, I can't tell. It looks like he's getting thrown into the wall at the same time he's punching. But maybe he's bashing into the wall to try and break it down. He's not like chained up right now. So I wonder if this is saying that he tends to fight his way out all of the time. And so he ended up getting chained. I think he's holding on to that flower crown because maybe because he cherishes relationships with others, even though he can't actually maintain them. He seemed kind of like a loner from the little bit we've seen so far. But then he's just a lot more heavily restricted because he's kind of hurting himself trying to break free. That's my guess. He's still beat up here and obviously bleeding. We can't tell the color of the light, I think, because this looks like a drop of blood rather than the color of the collar. But maybe it is. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff so far. So here he is, trapped in like a cell. We haven't seen anyone else locked up like this. So it really seems like he is being treated differently. It's also interesting, he's singing in English here, as opposed to the girls who were in another language. I'm not quite sure which. So I guess it makes sense if they are like kidnapping kids from around the world to raise into singers. It makes sense that they would have different languages. That means that they're probably doing that instead of raising them from birth, because if they were all raised together from birth, they would probably speak the same languages. Oh, just kidding. It was just English at the start of the song. That was weird. This isn't what music looks like. I mean, some of this is what music looks like. But then some of it has like writing on it. Or there's a picture of the pink-haired girl, right? A few pictures of that girl. Yeah, it looks like... I wonder if he's got a crush on her. Because, like, that's a lot of flashbacks to her specifically. And then we see that he's drawing pictures of her in addition to writing his music. But also, like, I'm not expecting them to have, like, perfectly accurate staffs or notes and stuff. But it is interesting to see that they do generally have stuff that looks like music. But then there's stuff that's just, like, random symbols over it. Or random notes here. Like, that's not a language. And it makes me wonder if they have been taught the same language and it's something alien. I'm not familiar enough with different languages to say what they're actually singing in. I think it's Korean, but I'm not positive. It'd be cool if it was something unique. But at least the writing looks like it is something alien. Though it does vaguely look Korean. I don't think, like, it'd have to be really simple instead of like the sounds of Korean, but I don't think it's that. Yeah, I'm interested in what all of these different symbols mean. He's definitely doing more than just writing music here. Oh, that's the first time we saw that the black-haired girl also passed. It looks like she was hiding it in that scene we saw before. It's a little creepy how much he's getting flashbacks to these two. Like, it seems like he was kind of stalking them, which is weird. I wonder if they were supposed to be kept separate. We've theorized that they want people to have prior relationships when they go up against them, but it is confusing. Like, I wonder if they intentionally cultivate that and, like, pair these two up well before their tournament, or if they take things that naturally develop. And in either case, it's interesting that he doesn't just go interact with them. I wonder if he's just a shy kid or if they bully him or something. But I'm kind of leaning towards them intentionally curating these relationships so far. I'm really curious as to why they cover his mouth. No one else is like that. We speculated about a few cultural reasons it could be, but it seems more about restriction um, than anything cultural. Also, I think he's lightly blushing as he watches her there. Dude definitely likes the pink-haired girl. Okay, it's really interesting. This guy is just watching in fear the entire time. What we saw last time was a dual performance between the two, and this guy isn't participating at all. He's just watching horrified. So I wonder if the structure of these competitions changes and sometimes they aren't dual performances, or if our guitar man is just doing something so different than what this other guy expected that he can't even participate. And that's why he's horrified, because he can't clash with the music, because then they would both just be rated horribly. But he also can't participate, which means he's not going to get any votes. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to get his own turn here after this. Okay. That's a disgusting guitar. I was wondering... let's see. This will be a good shot right before it crashes, right? I was wondering what was up with all of these, like, chords and lines and stuff coming out from the guitar, because it's definitely way more than you would need to just get the sound from it. Especially this really thick one is pretty strange. I should have pointed that out earlier because I was thinking about it, but there were other things I wanted to comment on. I'm also noticing what looks to be an eyeball here embedded into it, which is really weird. But apparently it's because, yeah, the eyeball pops out. Apparently it was because this thing was, like, organic. And why would he be playing an organic guitar like this? That doesn't make any sense to me. I also don't know who's breaking it. I don't understand why he would break his own guitar. But the other guy... It kind of seemed like the other guy was doing something, because it sounded like a yell here. Oops, I have slowed down. I didn't even know I could do that as a keyboard shortcut. Yeah, so this guy yells, and then our guitar kid looks surprised, or at least looks over to him, and then the guitar is smashed and breaks apart, and there's, like, all sorts of guts in there. I see intestines and a heart and an eye. I have no idea why it would need any of this. Okay, he broke his own guitar then. Because I like it better. They all seem horrified by it. So breaking his guitar probably means something. I wonder if it was like an alien. And the alien guitar wasn't supposed to be harmed in the performance. That wouldn't make sense, because they seem to restrict this guy and not trust him. So they wouldn't just give him access to someone he can hurt. But also, that was definitely some kind of living being. I wonder if this is more an act of rebellion than one that makes particular sense. But yeah, everyone seems really surprised and angry and... Till Win. Okay, so his name is Till, which is what it looked like based on that little tattoo, but it was hard to tell because all of those letters look the same when you block off half of them. The other guy didn't do anything. Like, he didn't perform whatsoever. And he's happy here getting slammed into the ground by these robots. So, yeah, my guess is he did something that was unplanned, and it horrified the other kid because he wasn't able to participate. And it kind of cemented his loss. It didn't even look like there was a vote this time because the other kid just did nothing. We also don't see a death, though. I'm not sure if that means the other kid died off screen and they just assumed we would know, or if maybe the death of the guitar counted. That would be really, really interesting if that was the case. I'm going to play the rest of the video to see if we find out for sure, but it didn't look like we would. There he is, locked up again. Yeah, so we don't know, I guess, whether that other kid died. I'm assuming he did and they just didn't show it because it didn't matter. Like, he had no effort put into who he was compared to the other people we've seen. But maybe he got spared because this kid broke the guitar. I would really, really like that. That would be fantastic. Because that would mean that, like, they care about death not in who it affects, but because they just want the death there. And the violence and the gore can come even from something like a guitar that is alive for some reason. And that it kind of spares the kid because the death was paid for already. I wish it let us know for sure, though. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say, so let's go into the next episode. Round 3. Okay, I don't think we've seen either of these people yet, except, is this the... I think this is the guy who was hugging the guitar kid in the second video, was it? I think he looks a little different here, but I can't tell for sure. Again, terrible memory for faces. But still, none of them have a collar, by the way. It's still only the guitar guy, which makes me really, really think that it's a matter of behavior, that they just can't get the guitar kid under wraps, and the light is indicating how compliant they are, or something like that.
질척한 어둠 웅크린 모습 고개를 쳐도 네가.
Okay, so this is his hair green, or is that just the lighting? I don't know if we've seen who this is before. My first thought was that this is the guitar kid, Till, right? But yeah, we don't know for sure. It's just someone who seems to be dangling off the top of a building from this shot, being held by an alien who seems pissed. Yeah. I wonder if that amount of stars means anything. I guess it's just a meteor shower, but those are not particularly common. It's also notable how many stars you can see, despite this being in the middle of a bright city. Like, we even see spotlights going to the sky. Normally, light pollution would affect that. So this makes me wonder if we saw that some cities were inside that big box. I wonder if this is one of them and these stars are fake. We don't see any seams to indicate that, like we've seen in other places within that box. Um, but I feel like it's either that or they've got some kind of scientific magic to eliminate light pollution or help stars be more visible.
지 않는 너, 나 홀로 상상해. 빛이 나는 너, 옆에서 나. So black.
Oh, there's a lot of kids here. I wonder if he's like executing them one by one or something. Or if one of them misbehaved and this is how he punishes them while the others are here. I don't know. It's strange to see a group of them. I'm also noticing all of these songs seem to be about relationships. And obviously, like, most songs are about relationships just in the real world. It's one of the most popular topics to write about ever across cultures. But it makes me wonder if maybe part of the drama that they're seeking by having people who know each other is that they are kind of expected to sing towards each other. Although now that I think about it, my theory that they want to match people up who have some kind of prior relationship was kind of proven to be wrong last episode, because the guitar kid didn't seem to have any kind of relationship with that other guy. Like, he was just such a background character that nothing happened. Also, so far we're seeing only one person singing again, which is strange. It's making me think that that's the normal way that these happen, and that the first episode, the duet, was really unusual. But then I don't know why they're sending two people out at once, because we're not seeing the other performance.
Like as it can be. 다가가면 갈수록 깊어지는 듯이. Like a black sorrow.
Okay, hang on, stuff going on. So this is definitely the same kid. He's got the collar leash combo that the guitar kid did going on here. And this was presumably after he was dangled off the building. So he wasn't executed then. We see other kids here. One of them apparently is slumped down, it looks like. We also noticed the writing here. This is different than what we saw on the sheet music from the guitar from Till. So that's notable that they're not teaching them the same language. It looks like this kid is number, what is that, 8,300? Wait, no, 83,921? Which means that they do a lot of these singing tournaments, if that, or at least try and raise a lot of people to participate in them. If I'm understanding this right, that they're numbering the kids and that's their only purpose. Though I guess it would make sense if they could repurpose kids. We did see, I can't remember which video had it, but we saw a couple of kids getting dragged off after they did poorly. So that makes me think that they do repurpose these kids if they can't be performers. To what end is unknown. Maybe they turn them into guitars. I wouldn't be surprised. And then we see him getting kind of spoiled with alien food. Even wine, apparently, when he looks so young. Maybe it's not wine, but it definitely looks like it. And a pile of ashes? I mean, obviously we can't tell anything from alien food. I mean, I guess we can tell a few things about culture. Like, it's a little hard when everything is so diverse. I imagine that these are coming from different kinds of aliens. So we can't say like if we see 10 different races of aliens, we can presume that they probably came from 10 different worlds, and had 10 different cultures. At the very least, they were likely not part of the same country or society in the world that they came from. So it makes sense that we would see hugely diverse amounts of food, um, and hugely diverse like cultures represented. But I'm seeing like a cactus here. I'm seeing bones inside of jelly, um, with eyeballs on top of this creepy cake. Um, Something that looks just like crystals. This almost feels like less like they're trying to present a dazzling array of delicacies and more like they're trying to feed an alien and they don't know what it eats. And so they just kind of throw everything at it because there are things here that look completely inorganic, like crystals and rocks and stuff. Um, there are things that are definitely organic, like eyeballs and what seems to be the head of a giant bug. Um, and then there are things that are probably made from ingredients or food, like most of what we eat, like whatever this striped thing is, or this bread-looking thing, um, or the drink that looks like wine. So my guess is that this isn't meant to be him getting spoiled, and it's meant to present that he was raised by people who had no idea how to raise him, and we're just kind of throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck. Let's see, is there anything notable here? These guys are all giant compared to him. They look really pleased. They're bringing him flowers. We don't see the words pass here, but this looks a lot like the pass notification that we saw. So this makes me think that unlike the others we've seen, this guy was raised by aliens like a pet. And they entered him into this competition and he made it through and they were really proud of him, but that he got a taste of the real world, whereas the others we've seen so far have been contained in this really curated fake world. And that means that they're not purely raising kids to participate in here, but they're also allowing like outside pets and people to compete, if they've got the talent. Yeah, because then we see him straight into the group. So he must have passed, even though we didn't see it. We also see they're reading like holographic music, but this looks completely different than the music that Till was writing. And the writing as well looks different than what Till was writing. I'm guessing this is lyrics and then the notes, but this doesn't look like how we would write music. It looks sort of similar, but there are very notable differences. Like there are no shoot, what are the lines called coming off of notes? I used to know this stuff, but music theory has left my brain years ago. There's none of that though. They're just the dots. They're kind of connected with really curvy lines, whereas normally we would connect them with more straight lines. The staff bar thing here is curved and almost 3D, which indicates that they write music very differently. I'm not quite sure what it means, because I don't see the point of doing that, but it's got to indicate something. I also wonder, the background looks so fake compared to, like, we see the level of detail and realism and stuff that we see here, and then the trees just look like really simplistic paintings. We don't see any creases, but this makes me think they're not outside, they're just in front of a wall. and the wall is painted with trees. Because generally I feel like we see detail when something is more realistic. Yeah, like immediately here are trees that he's standing under, and they're not like the most realistic trees I've ever seen, but you can see that there's like details on the leaves, and the bark is kind of a little bit rugged and misshapen, whereas here everything was perfectly straight and perfectly even. It feels like a notable difference. Although I still expect here is that fake outside box thing. I think we're seeing here that black-haired girl and the pink-haired girl running. I can't tell too much, but her hair looks black. Their hair looks black, I guess. It is just not enough detail to say for sure, I guess, but that's my guess because a lot of things seem to revolve around those two so far. Yeah, there's the flowered crown falling, presumably from the two we just saw running. And then it looks like Till is running after that into like a tunnel, like a really glitched out tunnel. Yeah, this look is super weird. So I think this is the closest we've seen to them confirming that this is a fake outside area. Oh, look, the crease again. There's that box, which means this is definitely right along the edge of the wall, and things seem to glitch out a bit towards it. But that makes me think that this isn't even meant to fool them, because this entrance here isn't hidden whatsoever. It's weird that things seem to glitch out around it, like almost like they are projecting all of this detail, and the technology here is just not caring or a little bit broken when it comes to this entrance. And it's interesting that they're able to just go down here of their own free will, because you wouldn't do that if you were trying to like contain these kids or fool them. We see some red lights here and here. I wonder if those are anything meaningful. But yeah, it's cool to see that this is probably just some kind of like rec room or like relaxation room or something that the kids can go to rather than something else. Also, hang on. Does our kid here, he doesn't have a collar, whereas everyone else does. Has he ever had the collar? He didn't hear, didn't while he was being held up. Yeah, it must be something about being a pet. Or it kind of looks like he's got the collar there, though. None of the singers have it in the choir, though. And the choir we saw in the first episode did have the collars. So I wonder if he's in something really different than the rest of them have been. Like, his situation seems really, really different. Coming from the outside, not being subjected to the collars. He seems pretty aloof as well. Like, he isn't part of the group that we are seeing with everyone else. I don't quite know the details of what that means, but it's telling us that he's definitely separate from them. It's also interesting we see this dude singing, because we haven't heard him singing at all. It makes me wonder if with Till's episode, round 2, if the other guy was singing after all and they just didn't see fit to show it to us. if maybe they're only like showing the main characters singing and the rest are implied. But he doesn't seem as horrified, so it's likely that he's actually competing here, whereas with Till, the other guy didn't seem to even try, based on the lack of voting and how horrified and still he was. What the heck is that? I have nothing to say here. It's, I mean, we recognize these two, so it's not feeding on them. It looks like, I can't tell if he's kneeling in pain or in reverence. But I think that's Till, which makes me think not reverence. We see collars on this, so it's some kind of contained threat or animal rather than something purely sentient and in control of itself, I would guess. We see a ton of eyes, and those eyes reminded me of what we saw in that tunnel. But we don't see enough of them here. So I don't think it's hiding in that tunnel. Yeah, I don't know. That thing's freaky. She's horrified, which makes me think that Till, if that was Till, is kneeling down in pain rather than something else. We see those dots again. I don't think they're like lasers coming out of its eyes because that's too regular of a shape. But we've seen corridors before and they don't have random dots like this, so I wonder if it does mean something. Yeah, he looks like exhausted and maybe hurt rather than supplicating. So that makes me think this is some kind of like punishment engine rather than someone in charge. It's hard to say because alien structures look so different than what we're used to, but I'm definitely guessing it's more like a guard pet or something that inflicts punishment. Oh, I turned off the lyrics a bit ago, actually, because I needed to see something, and I'm realizing that I don't actually know when I turned them off. So let's just, the last thing I remember for sure was the food. So I'm going to speed this up just to catch back up to where we were and make sure I didn't miss anything in the lyrics. All right. Doesn't look like we missed anything terribly much. Again, though, all of his lyrics sound like he's really longing for connection or watching from the outside rather than being a participant on his own with someone. So that's interesting, but not particularly meaningful right now, I'd say. Okay, that was really quick. Was there anything notable there? Looks like a lot of surprise and maybe fear again. But we can't tell what that's reacting to. It's weird that this is such a quick shot, because it doesn't seem like it is meaning anything. If I had have to guess, this is the audience watching the current performance, so I'm not sure why they would be so surprised like this. Was it something he just said? Oops. I don't think so. With you for a long time. Inside the black darkness. Yeah. Shouldn't be anything that he just said.
So black, black as it can be. 다가가면 갈수록 깊어지는 듯이.
Looks like this is Till again, really restrained. Is this saying that our black-haired guy was able to go witness him while he was like that?
Like a black, black.
Yep. Kind of creepily close. He seems very interested in him. Oh, that makes it look like it wasn't a meteor shower. That's just fire? I'm not sure why fire would be raining down like that in the sky. Was he unlocking that? Yeah, he opened that color. How on earth does this kid have access to do that? So it looks like he broke him out and took him away. So he is more of a participant than just a stalker of the guy who was stalking the other people. So that's good. I feel like that again speaks to his level of privilege being way above the rest of these kids, that he was able to do that. Obviously, he probably didn't have permission to, but the fact that he was able to means that he wasn't watched as closely, in my opinion. Also, the fact that this is raining down fire makes me think it's likely not a fake outside city like I thought before, because that is a very bizarre thing to choose to show. Instead, it's got to just be actually outside, right? And this is the first time that Till would have been able to get outside. I wonder if these aliens seem to be rather warlike based on how they interacted with Earth. So I wonder if this is the remnants of them like destroying a ship in the sky or something. Oh, weird. So it looks like he was trying to run away just permanently. And Till is like, I can't do that. I need to go back. Maybe because he was obsessed with the pink-haired girl. He seemed really surprised and hesitant and ashamed almost. And then our black-haired kid seems very surprised by the decision, and then Till runs away. He crushed him. Ivan wins. Ivan is the name of this kid then. Okay. Once again, we're not seeing a death. So that makes me think the other kid from Till's episode, Rantu, was not, in fact, spared because of the guitar. They're just not bothering to show the deaths every time. And now we see Till with a Rubik's Cube. Cool. Oh, wait, that wasn't Till. Was it? Frick, I'm so bad with faces. All right. Cool. So we're seeing a lot of interesting implications for the world that it looks like there's a lot going on outside of this facility that seems to be raising these kids. Um, and it's not just that they're raising them to be like singers for them. There seems to be more going on. And it also seems like the access to that facility isn't as locked down as you would expect if they're letting other kids have free-ish access into and out of it, like we saw with Ivan. I'm not sure this next episode. Yeah, 4 minutes. Ooh. This is round 5. I'm assured that I'm not missing round 4. It just doesn't exist for whatever reason. So we'll see what happens next. Oh, but maybe that means... But let's see what this is. Because if this is showing... Ooh. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is actually showing round 5. It's not showing the round 4. I was wanting to finish off the first stage of the tournament, but it looks like it's skipping past round 4 for some reason. So that means this is a natural place to stop, because it finishes off everything we've seen in the first round. Yeah, I'm going to call it here. I want to get more into this. I want to do more, but I don't want to put out like a 3-hour long video. So I'm going to have to break this up into roughly hour-long parts, and I think this is as good a stopping point as I'm going to find today. So thank you for coming and watching. Thank you for your support on the series so far. I'm really enjoying going through it. I'm really excited to do more. Usually I try to record one a day. I might end up recording the rest of this today in different parts because I'm very much into it, very excited to see what happens. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you check out the rest of what we got on the channel. And I hope you subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for everything, and I will see you next time.